Here's something strange about the human brain. We're actually pretty good at noticing small changes, but we're almost completely blind to the big ones. You notice when your favorite coffee shop raises prices by 50 cents, but you probably didn't notice that the entire concept of work has transformed over the last 20 years. We're wired to focus on immediate threats and opportunities, what's changing right now. But really massive shifts, the ones that will completely reshape your career, your industry, your life, those happen on timescales that feel kind of, well, invisible. In my book, Certain About Uncertainty, I introduce an exercise I call the time telescope. And I want to walk you through that today, because once you see how it works, you never look at permanent systems quite the same way again. Okay, let's start. I want you to think of something, a system, an institution, a way of doing things that feels absolutely fixed, unchangeable. It's just the way things are. So let me give you one, the 40-hour work week. 5 days, 9 to 5 in an office. For a lot of people, this kind of feels like gravity, right? It's just how work works. It's so embedded in our lives that we plan everything around it, childcare, commutes, even our identities. So let's put it under the time telescope. We're going to look at this permanent system through 4 different lenses, 4 time horizons, and let's just see what happens. First, the 10-year lens. At this range, we're only looking at incremental change, maybe a bit of more remote work flexibility. Perhaps some companies are experimenting with compressed schedules, but fundamentally, Monday through Friday, 40 hours, that's the norm. At this range, the range where most of us do all of our planning, the system looks, well, pretty solid, I would say. Now pull back to 25 years, a full generation. Suddenly the questions get more interesting. Will full-time employment even be the dominant model? With AI handling more routine work, will we need 40 hours to accomplish what we do today? Will the 5-day week seem as arbitrary as the 6-day week that our great-grandparents worked seems? Our assumptions start to wobble at this time horizon. Now go back to 50 years. This is beyond your career horizon. What if work and life aren't even separate categories anymore? What if the whole concept of trading hours for dollars has been replaced by something we can't quite imagine yet? The way our grandparents couldn't have imagined the gig economy or remote collaboration across continents. At 50 years, this permanent feeling system starts to look a bit more temporary. And finally, let's go to the 100-year lens. But here we turn our head. Instead of looking forward, let's look backward. 100 years ago, there was no 40-hour work week. Factory workers regularly put in 60, 70, 80 hours across 6 days. Children worked in mines. The idea of a weekend was radical. Paid vacation? The 8-hour day wasn't natural law. It was fought for, it was bled for, legislated into existence. So that system that feels like bedrock to you, it was somebody else's revolution. The feeling of permanence is just a limitation of our perception. It isn't a property of the system. Once you extend your time horizon, you start noticing what I call weak signals, small indicators that transformation is already underway. So think about this as the 4-day work weeks that are emerging around the world, the burnout epidemic, companies dropping degree requirements, the great resignation and AI tools that can do in minutes what used to take us hours. So these are early tremors of a system under stress, not just random trends. This is what I mean by uncertainty intelligence, developing the capacity to perceive, adapt, and learn from change that most people can't even see coming. So here's my question for you. What's your 40-hour work week type example? What system feels so permanent that you've stopped questioning it? And what might you see if you put that under the time telescope? The time telescope is one of a number of exercises in my book, Certain About Uncertainty, that is coming out in spring of 2026. If you want to develop some of your uncertainty intelligence capabilities, I'd love for you to join me.